No, I mean, I always knew I wanted to be a mother, and it's been even better than I ever could have dreamed.
Presley Gerber seemed doomed to lead an affluent existence. Presley was more than the stunning facade of fashion shows and red carpets. She was born into fame, fortune, and the supermodel legend's heritage. Living cautiously in the glaring spotlight of celebrity was a story of anguish, rebellion, and the quest for identity that he lived out throughout his life. How did the son of the world's most beloved model, Cindy Crawford, end up struggling with his own issues? Pay close attention as we explore the sorrow surrounding Presley Crawford, the son of Cindy Crawford. Growing up in the limelight is something that many feel pressured to do. Presley was frequently compared to other relatives, as is the case with many famous children. Even though he had accomplished a lot, he often felt eclipsed by Kaya's meteoric climb. The relentless scrutiny from the media and the weight of these expectations took a toll on Presley. Presley was no exception to the rule that children of famous people typically struggle to find their own identities. The continual scrutiny made it hard for him to carve out a niche that was truly his. To learn more about Presley Gerber's life and the traumas he endured, stay tuned. Brentwood, California is the site of the July 2, 1999, birth of Presley Walker Gerber to the famous supermodel Cindy Crawford and the wealthy businessman Randa Gerber. Presley was immediately immersed in the realms of opulence, attractiveness, and style as the firstborn son of Randa Gerber and Cindy Crawford. He had an early impact on the modeling world through his younger sister, Kaya Gerber. Presley tried his hand at modeling, much as his famous mother had done, and appeared in prestigious publications and on world-renowned runways. His attractiveness and the influential people in his family made him an ideal candidate for the industry. But behind the camera, Presley's struggles were becoming more apparent. Opportunity, riches, and celebrity befell Presley throughout his illustrious life. It seemed like Presley's life was picture-perfect from the moment of his birth onwards, but the pressures of being born into a famous family would quickly show any imperfections. In what ways may he be flawed? We'll have to see. Presley spent a significant amount of time in the affluent and gorgeous beachfront town of Malibu, California during his formative years. In a haven far from the hustle and bustle of Hollywood, the Gerber family enjoyed a peaceful retreat at their oceanfront mansion. Keeping their children grounded in reality was something that Cindy and Randy talked about often. During the interviews, they emphasized the importance of family dinners, established the values of hard work, and encouraged their children to pursue their hobbies. Known for his outgoing personality and affection for the outdoors, photography, and surfing, Presley was a popular kid. He excelled academically and was popular with his Malibu high school classmates. On top of that, Presley was open about his artistic side through his many social media posts praising photography. His early Instagram posts revealed a deep love for capturing the breathtaking scenery of Malibu, an activity that betrayed his contemplative nature. Starting out in the fashion sector, Presley's eventual venture into modeling was expected considering his background in the field. His striking features, including his towering height, strong jawline, and vivid blue eyes, are a direct inheritance from his parents. Just like his mother and sister, Presley was signed to IMG Models. Quickly establishing himself in the industry, Presley was walking the catwalks for esteemed labels such as Calvin Klein, Moschino, and Dolce & Gabbana by the time he was in his late teens. On occasion, he would tag along with his sister Kaya for glamorous picture shoots for magazines and ads. With their undeniable photogenic appeal and star power, the Gen Z Crawford-Gerber duo was lauded. Modeling brought Presley stardom, but it also exposed him to the pressures of the industry, as fans and critics scrutinized his every action. It was inevitable that Cindy and Kaya would be mentioned. Presley felt the positive and negative effects of the fame that came with her modeling career. Cindy Crawford, who was Presley's mother, rose to fame in the 80s and 90s thanks to her numerous magazine covers, runway appearances, and advertising roles. She became one of the first supermodels to achieve global prominence thanks to her professionalism and beauty, and she is still revered as a cultural icon today. His dad, Randy Gerber, got out of the modeling industry and into business. He co-founded Casamigos Tequila with George Clooney. Kaya Gerber, Presley's younger sister, was born in 2001. The two of them grew up together. Following in her mother's footsteps as a successful model, Kaya quickly became a celebrity in her own right. Many people lauded Cindy and Randa for their stable marriage and how they managed to blend being famous with raising a family. A symbol of carefree achievement, the Gerber family lived up to their reputation throughout their lifetimes. From an early age, Presley witnessed the fame and fortune that came with his parents' careers. Expensive vacations, invitation-only parties, and meetings with prominent people were commonplace during his youth. In spite of all these blessings, Presley nevertheless felt immense pressure to live up to his famous family's name. To what extent, if any, did his family influence his results? Be sure to tune in to find out. It seems like Cindy and Randa had strong familial bonds and were actively involved in their children's lives. In interviews, Cindy talked about how she and Randa tried to protect Kaya and Presley from the risks associated with being famous. Board games and homemade pizza nights were among the traditions she often recounted from her family's past. In his own special way, Presley frequently celebrated his parents' birthdays and anniversaries by sending heartfelt comments on social media. He was also very close to his sister Kaya. The two siblings were often seen out and about, supporting each other in whatever they did. Presley began to struggle with feelings of identity crisis behind the glamorous family photographs and public appearances. Growing up in the limelight of Kaya and Cindy's meteoric rise to stardom, and Cindy's massive career, likely left him feeling inadequate. For Presley, there were unique challenges associated with living in the limelight. Despite the supportive environment given by his family, he nevertheless faced relentless criticism and comparisons to his sister and mother, as well as the relentless eye of social media. The expectations placed on Presley began at a young age. From his private life to his modeling career, he was always under the scrutiny of fans and critics. While navigating the challenges of puberty, there was a great degree of expectation to present oneself in a polished public light. Looking back, Presley's formative years set him up for success in adulthood. The complexities of his childhood illuminated the dark sides of wealth and fame. Despite his seemingly idyllic upbringing, he was deeply affected by all of these things. Let's examine his difficulties in more detail. As he matured, Presley began to exhibit subtle signs of inner turmoil. His social media posts would sometimes hint to more extreme emotions, despite his generally composed and confident demeanor in public. Posts of contemplative photos and mysterious captions suggested a more complex side of his personality. Although he achieved great success, Presley faced his fair share of unusual challenges. It seemed like Presley entered the modeling profession more out of obligation than passion when he initially started out. The apparently perfect life of Presley began to crumble, in stark contrast to Kaya's nimble embrace of the field. Presley Gerber inherited his supermodel mother's flawless complexion by the time he was a young man in his early 20s. Like many other new models, he had few tattoos when he first started out. Vibrant ink covered the young model's chest, arms, and neck. Even though large tattoos are frowned upon in the modeling profession, one shocking tattoo made waves online in 2020. The contentious tattoo of the phrase "misunderstood" beneath Presley's right eye catapulted him to stardom in 2020. This decision shocked both his admirers and detractors, and it led many to wonder if he was mentally stable. When asked to explain his decision, Presley said during an Instagram Live that the tattoo was a reflection of his inner thoughts and sentiments regarding his life and the opinions of others. "I wouldn't have done this if I didn't want it or if I thought it would ruin my face," said the man. His struggle for self-acceptance and insight became physically manifest in the tattoo. His decisions, including the controversial "misunderstood" facial tattoo and his brushes with the law showed that he was a confused young man. At some point, Presley's private struggles began to seep into his public persona. He faced charges of driving under the influence in 2019. There was a lot of media attention to the situation because of his behavior, which made people anxious. It seemed like this was a turning point in Presley's life. The program revealed the struggles he was enduring behind the scenes, despite his parents' support. It was a harsh reminder that no amount of celebrity or money can shield an individual from the consequences of their actions. Presley's actions stemmed from a deeper issue: his mental health. Evidently, Presley has had a hard time overcoming emotions like despair, misunderstanding, and loneliness. Although he hasn't mentioned them much, his fears have likely been heightened by the pressure to live up to his family's reputation and the constant scrutiny from social media. Mental health difficulties are often stigmatized in the world of celebrities, where being vulnerable is seen as a sign of weakness. Despite his problems, he led a fascinating personal life. Let's have a look. Presley Gerber, the son of Cindy Crawford, was in a relationship with model Lexi Wood at the time. They made their romance public in late 2024 when they became official Instagram users, posting heartwarming photos and videos of themselves. On one hand, Presley shared his happiness and described Lexi as the person that makes me the happiest I've ever been. On the other hand, Lexi took to social media to declare her love for Presley. They met years ago via common acquaintances, but their romance took off from there. They had just been dating for around 6 months when Gerber implied on Instagram that he had proposed, taking their romance public. A carousel of photographs of the two was captioned by the model with the words, "Guys, I did it." An infinity symbol, a love emoji, and a lock and key were all part of the couple's kissing montage in one of the photos. According to Presley, Lexi had captivated him from the moment they met. He recommended moving forward with their relationship no later than 7 days after their first date. Afterwards, they began attending social occasions together, such as the Casamigos Halloween party, where they introduced each other to their families and worked on costume ideas. They have hinted at the possibility of getting married and moving in together. Even though they aren't engaged just yet, Presley has openly declared Lexi his favorite person, and their connection has been characterized as natural and very affectionate. On her Instagram stories, Wood shared the same post again. Less than a month after admirers congratulated the pair, the couple unexpectedly announced their split. After breaking up, they deleted all trace of each other on Instagram, in the opinion of E! Despite being spotted with Gerber a week before to the separation, Lexi was ready to move on, according to news and a person close to Wood. Cindy Crawford and Randy Gerber must have felt an immense sense of loss seeing their children go through this. Despite their unwavering support for Presley, it is heartbreaking to see a loved one suffer. Cindy, known for her poise and grace, has largely stayed out of the spotlight when it comes to Presley's struggles, preferring to assist him in a more discreet capacity. In addition, Randa has stressed the importance of family and staying united throughout difficult times. However, the impact of social media on this entire situation is much more significant. How would you want to know? We'll have to see. The story of Presley is more than just a tragic one. It reflects bigger social issues as well. Social media pressures, unrealistic expectations in the entertainment business, and the stigma around mental health all contribute to Presley's and others' struggles. From a distance, it's easy to form opinions about people, particularly those from privileged backgrounds. But what Presley went through shows that having money and fame does not guarantee happiness. When it comes to the universal need for belonging, empathy, and connection, a person's socioeconomic level is of no consequence. Gerber began an initiative to raise awareness about mental health and to help individuals develop healthy coping mechanisms. As a diversion from his modeling career, he began an Instagram series titled Mental Health Mondays, where he discussed strategies for better mental health. The algorithm predicts that viewers will be more likely to seek help after each episode. Presley Gerber understands what it's like to be despised, since he has endured years of intensive media attention. I have allowed one comment to ruin my entire day, and I have discovered how to not let the energy from those keyboard warriors affect me anymore, Gerber revealed in the second episode of his Mental Health Mondays Instagram series in 2023, reflecting on the impact of social media criticism on his mental health. As he offered advice to his followers on how to weather the social media storm, Gerber stated, "You must be able to block that energy so that it cannot be received." He also suggested that people limit their social media use and disclosed that he had dealt with unpleasant comments personally. If social media gets excessive, there's no shame in taking a break. Gerber also urged his followers to establish good habits and reach out to friends when they feel overwhelmed by online abuse. According to him, we are all on the same journey and there is much more for him to discover. How is he doing right now? Gerber came forward about his struggles with mental illness and took stock of his past errors as he became older, really diving into mental health and just the community around it, stating that, "I feel like it's in a rare 2023 podcast interview." He added, "For me, in struggling with mental health, anxiety, and some other challenges that come alongside that, I believe that whether or not I help one person or 100 people come out of that place that I was in at one point in my life, that's all I need to do." Gerber believes he had to learn from the public's criticism of his past acts, and preferably share what he has learned with others. "What I'm hoping I can do is to clarify those errors for other people so they don't have to make the same mistakes that I made." Elvis Presley's story is just beginning. His perseverance and will to confront his obstacles directly are commendable, given the circumstances. Recent interviews and statements on social media have hinted at his desire to further his personal growth. With the love and encouragement of his family and his own determination, he can face the future with optimism. The importance of prioritizing mental health, embracing vulnerability, and seeking assistance when required is highlighted by Presley's tale. On August 20th, 2024, Gerber's Instagram stories exposed shocking truths about her personal struggles. Gerber opened out about his struggles with addiction and said that he was receiving treatment. He addressed his followers in a message that read, "I'm dealing with a current, very high opioid addiction, and I've been on and off of them for years now," Gerber added, keeping his fans apprised of his impending ayahuasca therapy for PTSD and addiction. The closer he got to his detox date, the more terrified he became, he said. Despite the serious tone of the chat and his concerns about therapy, Gerber seemed revitalized and motivated to become clean. "I'm making sure everyone is aware so there can be some responsibility in this matter," the child stated, after claiming to have been misunderstood. It seemed like everything had come full circle at this moment of transparency. The terrible story of Presley Gerber is a stark warning about the risks of fame and the need of talking about mental health. The significance of having compassion for ourselves and others is shown by his struggles. By removing stigmas and promoting open dialogue about mental health, we can move from a culture of judgment to one of understanding. Together, we can create a world where individuals like Presley can overcome adversity with confidence and strength. Presley Gerber's formative years were marked by love, privilege, and opportunity, but they were also weighted down by intense public scrutiny and lofty expectations. While being born into a famous family had many advantages, there were also some challenges. The transition from carefree boyhood in Malibu to the trials of adulthood exemplifies the difficulty of balancing individuality with wealth. As a reminder that growing up isn't easy for anybody, especially in the bright glare of fame, Presley's struggles are universal. Elvis Presley's humble beginnings serve as a poignant reminder that no one has it easy, not even the wealthy and well-off. Even while his story is far from complete, the lessons he gained as a child offer significant insights into the impacts of fame, family, and coming of age.